If you're a CTO right now, you are being asked to make decisions that didn't exist 2 years ago. Not technical decisions, organizational ones. Do you keep your solutions engineering team, or does AI handle the pre sales technical work? Do you still need project managers, or do agents run the sprints? What does a PM actually look like in 2026? And if you do lay people off because of AI, how do you avoid the trap that several companies are already falling into? Today's guest isn't a CTO. He's the person on the other side of those decisions. Juan Pablo has spent 12 years being the bridge between technical teams and business stakeholders, solutions engineering, product management, project management, and AI automation. He's worked on both sides of the table. He's been laid off twice. He's fixed broken integrations with $75 in AI credits that two developers couldn't solve. And he's watched companies make the AI headcount decision and immediately regret it. He sees this from the ground level. And that ground level view is exactly what's missing from most conversations CTOs are having about org design right now. In this episode, we're going to cover three things. What roles are actually being compressed by AI, and which ones are becoming more valuable? What the companies that got the layoff decision wrong have in common? And what the org chart looks like in 2 years if you're getting this right. This is Discount Dilemma. So, Juan Pablo, I was reading the other day your LinkedIn profile. So I kind of stalked you a little bit right, over the internet. So, but it's normal these days, right? So
hmm
the thing is that your LinkedIn profile says that you bring context that pure PMs or pure engineers usually don't have. So the question is, what does that actually mean in practice, like in the real work, real ground? Can you give me some context here?
Absolutely. That's one of the skills that I have been growing up on since my early days in software development. And is
Mm-hmm.
one word, translation. I translate
Okay.
business requirements to technical requirements. That's single, single as simple as that. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why this is important? Because business people, business stakeholders, business owners, these product owners, whatever you term used for them, they
Mm-hmm.
don't know technical solutions. They don't know how things are built or need to be built.
Yeah.
And developers, technical people, they know how to build things, but they don't
Yeah.
sense why or the purpose of building that if they are in their early days of development, if they don't have a seniority profile where they have already been on the other side, you know. So I have been in both sides, business, technical as a PM, understanding how a developer does and thinks. And I have been
Mm-hmm.
on the business side, understanding why they are creating businesses and if it's a good idea. I have pretty good mentors. My
Yeah.
one of my friends that is a sales executive, he always asks this question to businesses: Are you ready to
Mm-hmm.
go online? Are you prepared to do that? So that opens the Pandora box to whatever they are looking and aiming for. But you know, so yeah, that's what mostly I have been doing
That
up until the last 10 years.
10 years, okay, 10 years from now. So it's super interesting what you're telling me, but another question arises, like, how do you end up accumulating that kind of profile? Was it deliberate or accidental, or how?
It's quite deliberate, but unintentionally. Because on my early
Okay.
years in high school, I wanted to develop software. I was really good at
Mhm.
it, even when I was in pre-high school. Yeah,
Yeah.
the teacher was teaching us basic, and it was not running on the computer. So, okay, let's learn Macromedia Flash. That was the animations piece. That who knows
I
Macromedia Flash?
totally
And it was
remember. Yeah.
and I was the only one that raised the hand, so I gave the class for a month instead of him. So yeah, in my early years, I wanted software development, but then I find out on high school, pre university, that this was the side of businesses, and I wanted to make money fast. So I started working on marketing. Then it crossed
Okay.
paths with digital marketing, and then
Mm-hmm.
the snowball started rolling up. It snowballed everything, you know. Uh, being on my having my own business also helped with communication. Well, my
Yeah.
dad's business mostly. It was something that helped directly, but getting on a certain phase on the first step of the ladder for a software development agency help a lot on understanding everything. And so I started rolling different profiles for I think from 2011 to 2017, 6 to 8 years, where I started learning, and pivoting on my career path. So from 2000 and until now, it has been quite a ride, I know, and it
Mm-hmm.
helped me understand a lot of what I wanted to be for myself in my career path.
Yeah. So you let me understand that. So you started as a digital marketer, right?
Right.
Or okay. And then you move into e-commerce, right? E-commerce
Yeah.
consultant.
Software
Yeah.
developers,
And
yeah, and then
uh,
e-commerce, yes, yes,
okay, so
business
the
analyst.
solutions engineer is in the middle of of those, right? But
Correct. That's
now
correct. I mean,
you
mhm.
uh-huh, uh-huh. You say something about on your LinkedIn profile that AI augmented product manager, product management. So what does that imply in terms of AI?
A- AI is a new kid on the block. From since
Mhm.
last year, well, 2004,
Uh-huh.
2024. It has been the new kid on the block. Has been
Mhm.
the reasons of many things. Uh,
Mhm.
where I was where e-commerce slash commerce, instead of being a e-commerce product, they transition to an agentic AI agency. So
Yes.
that involves changing the mindset of how a business is rolled and how it's going to differentiate between businesses. So
Uh-huh.
some of them stick on the e-commerce role, some of them are sticking only as augmented products with AI involved on the core of everything. And
Yes.
for everyone that we are lately on software development, well, we have to learn the new skills, and this had been happening since early years of our humanity, where when a new tool is brought, we have to innovate, we have everything. So when
Mhm.
steam engines came, it was the same. When fuel engines came out, it was the same. Internet, cell
Mhm.
phones, mobile
Yeah.
phones, it
Yeah.
evolves and everything. And I think it will be part of our topics on the future. But AI is a great tool right now. I see it
Mhm.
as the other way. AI is a great tool, and everything, and we have to take advantage of this tool in order to help businesses, software development, and everyone to evolve into these new roles, as I will say.
Yeah. Okay. So every step stacked into on the last one, and so, but like looking back, was there a moment that you felt like you were like like having too much on your plate, like I don't know where
Crumbling.
just yeah, or where the stack felt like too much to maintain? Like this is a lot of e-commerce, product management. Now this AI situation.
I will say that early this year, when I needed to redefine my profile, there was plenty of options to do so. I was like, oh, do I want to be a data analyst? Do I want to specialize on data? I want to specialize on other platforms, e-commerce platforms mostly. Do I
Mm-hmm.
have to expand my knowledge in different e-commerce platforms, or should I stick my role with AI? So I chose AI. in this part. So I have been doing certifications. I've been doing my own vibe coding stuff and learning about AI on my own right now. As yeah, I'm doing Anthropic courses and everything, you know. So in a certain point, that had been, I think, one of those break points.
Mm-hmm.
I I won't say, but it was like a profile breakpoint. But I think it redefined how I wanted to work. Wasn't during COVID and the latest months of COVID when I was really stuck with work, working
Mm-hmm.
around 14 hours per day. Even though I was not doing code, I was in
Mm-hmm.
communication with businesses and everything. So it was, I think, for software development, COVID was pretty huge moment where stress and
Mm-hmm.
everything was up to date, and you needed to be fast, productive, and deliver as fast as you could in a certain point. So I think that's when we needed AI, not
Yeah.
right now,
Not
but I
now,
think
right?
yes, yeah, not right now, but yeah, yeah, I
Co-
think
co- Compared to those days, it feels like a walk in the park right now, right? I mean, and with
right,
AI is
yeah.
more, right?
Yeah, and for
So,
example, project management. Sorry about that.
uh-huh.
For the interruption, with project
No.
management, right now with AI integrations, you could do reports in 5 minutes instead of 45 minutes or an hour. That that
Yeah.
will shrink a lot of on the time and the work proficiency, where you will only read what was done and explain directly, not doing everything and so on. For yeah. Sorry
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, don't worry. So in this transition, was there anything you have to leave behind? Okay, I don't, I don't think that this is useful. Like no longer useful for me. So because you start
Oh, I
so
don't
many
think.
things.
Mhm. I don't think that's something that really should happen
Mm-hmm.
on a career path. Everything that you have learned in a certain way on your roles that you have been doing help with
Okay.
a granular piece, or as a Lego piece. I will say as a Lego piece on your
Mm-hmm.
mindset and your experience. Right
Okay.
now, I will say and suggest for everyone to get experience and not to feel threat about AI replacing us. What makes us different are two things. One is reasoning, another one is experience. So you can do a lot of things with AI, but you have to overview, oversight, micromanage everything that is being done.
Mm-hmm.
And it only could be done with these two, at least these two things: reasoning, technical reasoning, common reasoning, common sense reasoning,
Yeah.
and your experience. So my experience with digital marketing has been really helpful. My experience with Scrum has been really helpful. My experience as a business development representative has been really helpful on how to understand sales funnels and everything on that way. So every role that I
Mm-hmm.
have been involved with right now has helped to get at the point I'm doing right now. So
Okay.
I won't say that we have to leave pieces behind. We have to only use that part of our own stack of experience that is needed.
Okay. Okay. So like you mentioned something like the one task that lasted like 1 hours, 2 hours, and honestly, I will say like the whole morning, right? It takes only
Right.
minutes to do it right now. So, in this kind of stuff of task and these kind of tools, right, that we used to do, what have you stopped doing entirely? I mean, is there something that you delegate to agents right now entirely?
Yeah,
What is it?
I will say that different roles. I have two right now, two reports that I have to mostly delegate to my agents and sub agents. The first
Mm-hmm.
one for project management is sprint reports and Scrum boards review. I can
Yeah.
run directly with Cloud. Give me the sprint review for, or how is it looking for everything on the sprint, the billable hours, the development hours. If we have hours that are burning our budget and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
for sales engineering, for example, or solutions engineering, or my new role that I'm exploring right now, solutions architect, is RFPs and RFIs. So, at a certain point, you will have this big chunks of document where you have to read which is the company, what they are aiming for, what they are looking for, and this set of between 300 to, and I have received 2,000 questionnaires about your product or about your platform that you have to answer
Uh-huh.
on those first RFIs and then RFPs. So
Okay.
with ChatGPT, I used to upload this documentation directly with my agents, run it out, have those documents delivered, giving an overview, correct some things, tell GPT about that what was missing or what was wrongly underestimated. Even though you have this RAG features on your system that help you gather all the documentation on everything that you have on your product or e-commerce. There's
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that AI hallucinates or
Yeah.
reinvents something, and I was like, why are you worrying this? It's nonsense. So you have to really read everything that it creates, and but it helps you. Instead of doing a RFP for 5 days, just shrink it to 1 day, 1 day of work right now.
Got it. Got it. And like you're speaking about things that have changed the way you worked and workflows that you use right now, but and that's not the happy path, but the happy story, right? And
Yeah.
so in contrast, what has failed like surprisingly, like something that you thought it would be like really easy to automate and then it flunked or haven't been able
Well,
to.
yeah, there are certain things like understanding online forms,
Hmm.
everything that is browser sourced, or everything that is working on browsers. AI is failing completely. I mean,
Okay.
they have to take screenshots and then process the screenshot and then give you an idea. Right now, that process is quite slow for them.
Uh-huh.
It's not that helpful. So even though you use Playwright, you use Code for Chrome, Cloud for Chrome, and all that certain features, I think that's one of the pieces that is failing right now with AI. But
Yeah.
and yeah, but that's something that you can do it directly with you, but connections directly with SSH, CLIs, MCPs, that helps a lot on those connectors to help directly with going to terminal and do things smoothly and easily with CLIs at a certain point.
Yeah. So, and do you think that we are far from automating this kind of tasks?
It will depend on what will be the future for AI. Uh,
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't like the term AI right now. Uh, it's intelligence, yeah, but it's using a bank of intelligence. It is not auto-generative intelligence. It is not reasoning intelligence. It is lacking a lot of experience. It is lacking a lot of own suggestions in a certain way, even though you teach them. And there's a piece of which is totally failing. And I was reading about it early today, and I think that's one of the things that Anthropic is trying to tackle right now is memory.
Hmm.
You can execute a task, you can do cron jobs, you can run everything, but when you go back a few weeks, months later, the AI doesn't remember what was done. It has to read what was deployed or what is currently on your repo. So you have to do a lot of documentation. You have
Yeah.
to do a lot of memories, MDs. You have to do a
Hmm.
lot of steps for so that if in a certain point developers were not doing
Yeah.
for some projects, they have to do it right now for AI. because if not, it will be lost. I have tried to work on my own workstations to have everything sync between all my devices. Like
Mhm.
if I do something on this laptop, I want this work to be replicated to my server, to my Mac Mini here,
Mhm.
and sometimes it does, but it sometimes it doesn't have the right context. Sometimes it has so memory, reasoning, and experience. I think will be very difficult to automate in a certain point, Darwin. But once they get that, I think that'll be the real deal.
Yeah. And what do you think? I mean, I've experienced that. Like you are building something, you're trying to fix something or whatever, and the agent starts hallucinating, and they don't remember, or they, I don't know, they bring context from another part of your account or whatever, and then what you have to do is just like going to a fresh start with some context, right? Like you say, an empty file or whatever. But this situation that you are pointing out, and you're saying that whenever it gets fixed, that part it will be like the real deal. So do
Mhm.
you believe that we are still like far from there, or do you think it's going to happen next year, probably the next couple of months or whatever? Because I see Anthropic every day deploying something new, right? And then
Mhm.
OpenAI trying to catch up with the thing, and then Grok, you listen that now they're going to invest more money on Grok and whatever. So is it months? Is it years? What do you think?
I will
What
s-
can you predict?
I will say it's years, and this is my own
Yeah.
opinion. To be really
Okay.
clear for everyone listening this to this
Mhm.
podcast, I think will be years because there's a lot of things that needs to be tackled. Yeah, Anthropic is delivering features, a lot of
Yeah.
features recently, and pretty good features, and
Hmm.
everything that side. But it's different to deliver a feature to deliver a new core functionality.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then the core functionality will be to have real intelligence that
Hmm.
automates, that remembers, that reasons. And one of the piece that is missing also is creativity.
Yeah.
And that's one of the parts that when you were saying that, yeah, you put a prompt there,
Hmm.
you imagine the prompt in your head first. You create
Hmm.
that idea on your head first. But when you start typing it, you type something that is really a summary of that idea that you have on your mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So prompt engineering has been prompt engineering disappeared as fast as it was created, but it's still on the loop
Uh-huh.
because we you have to really write a Bible in order to get that idea really as you want it for AI to start working. And sometimes you
Yeah.
say, I think it will be easier for me to do it instead of giving this whole idea on Trump.
So so much context, right?
Yeah, it's taking me more time to write all down all the context instead of me doing that. Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like in the past, right? Like you spend like 1 2 weeks on trying to automating something, building something to automate a simple task that would only require like half an hour or something like that. And now it's like you choose not to write a prompt and do it on your own, right?
yeah. For
Yeah, yeah.
example, and NAA, Zapier make that help a lot. That sort of connectors and integrations help a lot on doing workflows on that. Right now with
Mhm.
CLIs, you don't really have to do it to use them. But
Yeah.
in some companies, they ask you to do it. You can connect your CLI and work directly with NAA to make and that sort of things. And sometimes those software limit the use on what you're trying to achieve. So it is easier to build something from custom from scratch and beginning, but that gives you a lot of context and things that are really happening right now. And one of the topics that is currently on today's
Mm-hmm.
topics on AI is security. Everything
Yes.
that is happening right now with security, with AI involvement, by coding, and that sort of things is only brought by reasoning and experience, as I said on the beginning. So
Yeah.
an experienced developer knows what happens with this and with that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think we will get there, but it's not that close right now.
Yeah, and I mean, like this democratization of software development or building stuff, right? That everybody can do it, and like 2 or 3 years ago, people depended on software developers 100%. It has, I think, it has brought um a I don't know how to call it, a mirage, probably, that you can do everything on your own, right?
Mhm.
But then when you face problems like security or scalability or whatever, right? You need an engineer. But the only
Right.
problem is that now, as you think you know how software development works, right? And how fast you can do something that in the past will take months, right? You are expecting those kind of results in those periods of time, and I believe that's a risk in so many levels,
Mhm.
like clients, right? They have been fooling around with Anthropic, with Claude, or with GPT or Codex, whatever, right? So now they believe they know. It's like, for example, when you know some mechanics, right? And you go to the workshop and you say, only for that, you're gonna charge me only for that thing, right? Because you think you know.
Yeah.
So I believe that's a risk, don't you think? Clients expecting AI speed responses from a human role.
Yep. I think right now what you're saying is really important, and I think that's something that in e-commerce I lived that when we were teaching a lot of on platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So there are platforms that are for entrepreneurs and for
Yeah.
early releases,
Mm-hmm.
for startups. That's
Yeah.
the word, for startups. So it happened to me. I hired a developer. I did the discovery piece and everything on documentation. She said, this will be done with a .NET solution. It will be living on GitHub, and your client will have this inventory sync into the platform, and
Mm-hmm.
his custom POS system working on. Okay, it worked for a while. Still, things still breaking out. I contacted him again. He could not work right now on it, so he suggested another developer. The other developer didn't find the solution, so
Yeah.
client started to get anxious. And what I did was like, what it was like, what the hell? I will connect my credit card to Cloud Code. Let's see what I can do.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Darwin, after 75 USD dollars, I corrected the full integration. It was three sessions
Man.
of $25, but
Okay.
it was pretty, how would I say it? So it was a pretty good experience for
Mm-hmm.
me. Like, I knew about software development, but I'm not a developer on my own. I know how APIs work, but I don't know, for example, .NET solutions. So
Yeah.
it worked in everything. It read the file. It was a TXT file. It started doing tests on inventory sync and everything. It corrected everything. It created a JSON for everything. So right now I'm receiving every morning when the sync completes on my
Uh-huh.
Telegram, and I say the
Yeah.
integration for this worked, and it lasted this amount of time, because I
Mm-hmm.
know that they have like 14,000 SKUs. So when that
Yeah.
time is out of that range of time, I know that something is wrong. Like it happened 2 days before. So yeah, but I did that with Cloud Ecology, but it was a pretty good experience.
So Juan Pablo fixed a broken integration, one that two developers couldn't solve, just with 75 in AI tokens. For a CTO, that sort of raises an uncomfortable question. And it's not like, wow, AI is amazing. No, the question is this: why did it take someone with 12 years of accumulated context to get AI to do that? Why couldn't anyone just open cloud code and fix it? The answer is that the AI didn't fix the integration. Juan Pablo's context did. He knew what the platform was supposed to do. He knew what the client actually needed. He knew enough about APIs to direct the AI toward the right solution. The AI just executed what his judgment was pointing at. Which means that the 75 story isn't an argument for replacing experienced people with AI. It's an argument for understanding exactly what kind of experience actually matters now and what kind doesn't. Because here's what's happening in the market right now: companies are making that distinction wrong. They're cutting the people with execution skills, the ones the AI can now replace, but they are also accidentally cutting the people with judgment skills, the ones that AI still needs to be useful. And then they're discovering that mistake in production. In this next act, Juan Pablo tells us exactly what the failure looks like and what it means for how you structure a team that actually works with AI instead of just alongside it.
But you imagine if I didn't have my experience on the platform, on software development, and a certain way, it will be difficult for anyone else to, because it was really as something really specific. Um,
And
I, yeah, and there's there's a lot of cases that I haven't found out in these months about it.
yeah, and that's another topic for PMs, right? Because I don't know if you remember that back in the day, I'm speaking about like what 10 years from now in the past, that everybody wanted to become a PM, just a person that didn't ever throw something into deploying or whatever, right? or they didn't even have the technical background or whatever, so they just went into Scrum and then as a natural um, next step on their careers, PM or whatever, and they just study something. But I believe that now with AI, and there is something that some other people has brought into the show, this kind of thought is that PMs will be kind of developers if they have enough technical knowledge, right? Because it will be something that integrates. Because to be honest, right, I started listening to this idea in 2023, in 2023, but I didn't believe so that was so real. But now I can see it. I can see it with your experience, with some of my own, with some experience from fellow coworkers or whatever, right? And they went like, coding is not gonna be a a a single skill that you will have to get a job, right? You have to have this critical thinking, this as you mentioned earlier, right? Like, is it, what is it called, the common sense situation, right? So it's gonna be more than that, and less technical and more practical situation, because you're gonna have you're gonna have agents to do those kind of jobs. So
Yeah, that this conversation puts in a pretty right now slight side of things,
uh-huh.
because yeah, the and it's happening, and we are learning about that on the market. We have seen companies lay off. They call it layoffs. That yeah, because of AI, we are going to just reduce our workforce and do this with
Mm-hmm.
AI. And it has failed for at least two companies that I know, that
Uh-huh.
having non developer people uh, developing, sorry, not developing, delivering code
Yeah.
with AI has put these companies in a bad spot. Have brought
Yeah.
failures. I have been errors. So I don't think software developers will be gone. I think they will need skilled in a certain things on development, is it happening for project managers, where project managers are right now working on, if you're a AI project manager, you have to be divided on, you will specialize on discoveries, or you will
Hmm.
specialize only in deliveries, or you will specialize only on the ongoing work. So at least right now, specialization is something that is really happening in
Yeah.
order to achieve at this point that and there's something that I found really when a colleague shared me this profile, and he
Hmm.
told me apply for this, and it was a software development job, job posting, that
Yeah.
it said, you don't know you don't need to know anything on AI. Your work will be supervising and reviewing every code that the AI generates. So they're right now people hiring people,
Hmm.
software developers, to review AI code.
Yeah.
So so
Yeah.
yeah, I think right now it's like a symbiosis. Right now, it will be a symbiosis where AI will be a pretty good tool for everyone,
Hmm.
but people are needed in the mix for their skills, their experience, everything at
And
a
it's
certain point.
crazy, and it's crazy because it's the same people. It's the same people that got laid off, the ones that are getting hired to review the things that AI is building, right? So JP said something that every CTO in this audience should write down. It's the same people that got laid off, the ones that are getting hired to review the things that AI is building. That's not an irony. That's a system failure. It means a company made a headcount decision based on what AI could do: generate code, write documentation, answer RFPs without accounting for what AI still can do. Own the outcome, catch the error, know when something that works technically is still wrong for the business. They optimize for output and forget about judgment. And now they're paying twice: once for the layoff and once for the rehire. And they're probably paying the rehired person less for the same judgment they let go. That's the expensive version of getting this wrong. But there's a more interesting question underneath it. If the org chart is shifting, if PMs are becoming more technical, if engineers are becoming reviewers, if new roles like token budget manager are emerging, so what does a CTO actually build toward? Not the org chart you have today, not the one you had 2 years ago, the one that makes sense when AI is doing the execution and humans are doing the judgment. JP has a very specific answer for what that looks like from where he sits. And it starts with a technique he uses with people who are scared about their next performance review. In the next act, he tells us what it is and why it's also the answer to how you build a team that doesn't end up in the layoff rehire loop. It's it's crazy. It's crazy. So um and what's the with this situation, do you think that a specific role will emerge, like, like, I don't know, probably an engineer that doesn't code anymore, just put the hands on a vehicle that sometimes is an autopilot or whatever, and is there just for checking everybody's code or their own or whatever? What do you think new roles will be like in the future?
And I think we already did have that on Scrum teams. There was
Hmm.
someone that was always reviewing code before deploying it, and it was a technical leader. And I think that profile won't and that role won't be disappearing. I think it will increase in a certain way, that
Hmm.
deployments and everything will be checked. So right now, when I finish any work that I'm doing on my CLI, for example, in my Mac Mini, I have
Hmm.
to remember Claude to do the push and write
Hmm.
down the memory. And
Yeah.
then the next day, do a git pull of the repositories, especially in this one, because we need to, yeah, branches and everything. And sometimes they say, oh, this change is breaking our project. And I was like, this is something that you did. Why did you not do it if it's already in your memory? Oh, I totally forgot. I'm sorry about that. And I was like, you cannot forget. You're an AI. I can forget things.
Mhm.
I can forget things because I'm a human, but you don't. So yeah, and at a certain point, as I said previously, with project managers for developers, it will be the same in a certain way.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think one of the things that I think that this role would be very delicate, would delicate and dedicate and everything is like
Mhm.
for like the project's budget, it will be for the AI budget. How many tokens are
Okay.
you burning out?
Yes.
How many tokens is costing the company? I know for a fact for a friend that there was a company here in Mexico, a bank company, that they were reviewing token utilization as part of the productivity of their employees, and I was like, so if they don't use that much tokens, they are not currently working. Is that what you're aiming for? What can
Yeah.
be the yeah,
I,
so
because last week I heard some news from Amazon that they discovered that the engineers were just burning tokens in stupid things to because they have a quote for that, right? You
mhm.
have to fulfill the expectation of your burning tokens, and they discovered they were just automating things that they needed to do, like for their jobs or I don't know, like personal projects or whatever, or just asking random things just to spend all the tokens they were supposed to. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And that's the new and that's the business right now with AIs and all the companies, and that's something
Yeah.
that's right now working on. And I don't know if you see yesterday's news, the amount of money that Anthropic will pay to SpaceX for using their service is more
Yeah.
than Mexico's internal product,
But
the
oh my god.
PAV.
Yeah.
That's a
Well,
huge amount of money. That's going
crazy.
crazy in a
It's
certain
crazy.
way. Yeah, how much water are we going to waste in the server?
Yeah. Well, JP, let me ask you a final question, right? So
Sure.
if you were talking to someone right now who is in one of these roles that you got that you have fully integrated, right? PM, engineering solutions, and e-commerce and all this kind of thing. Um, um, and they're scared, right? Not abstractly scared, but specifically scared about their next performance review or the next contract renewal, the next
Mhm.
job search. What do you actually? What will you actually told them, right? Like not the LinkedIn version, of course, right? The real version. What do you tell them?
To use an agent to
Hmm.
prepare the self for this review,
Okay.
to set up an AI assistant. It can
Hmm.
be the most famous on the market right now, which is OpenClaw, which is an open source.
Yeah.
Connect their agent, start doing role playing for this review, for example, and that will help them getting the idea how they can start working with AI, using agents, using assistants, using sub agents, using everything with AI to help them directly with their career path.
Yeah.
Uh, because they're scared right now, so they don't
Of
want to
course.
touch AI because AI right now is my enemy. I would say use it right now. That's a technique that my dad my dad teach me. It was like grab everything by by the horn, grab the bull by the horns.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
use your agent, train yourself right now for that meeting. Like
Hmm.
put everything in context. And so what they are going to ask me, and start doing that. OpenClaw is pretty good. Also, it is helping a lot
Okay.
with everything on that end. I will suggest, yeah, start using that. and you will get an understanding of what you are aiming or what is happening to you. Uh, and don't be afraid of layoffs. I have been involved in two layoffs. The
Yeah.
first one was pretty scary, pretty sad for everything for me. And within this with this second one, I was like, well, it happened again. So what we should do? And I was like, let's pivot.
Yes.
Let's start working right now. Market is right now is tough. As
Hmm.
everything will in a certain point will stabilize. So it's the idea of the mentality and how we are going to how you're going to prepare yourself for all the things that are coming. So that would be my suggestion for everyone. Uh,
Hmm.
probably probably you were trying to get another answer, but I think that's the one that started working for me in a certain way,
Okay.
and that helped me open into this and into building more things in AI than only using the web client with them. So yeah, that would be
Yeah.
my suggestion.
Okay. Thanks a lot, JP.
No,
See you
thanks to you
around.
for you
It's
for inviting me.
it's been a pleasure. Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Oh,
It's been a pleasure.
as always.
And yes, I know it's been really refreshing to listening these ideas from you. Bye bye. Thank you a lot. See ya.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. There's a decision every CTO is going to make in the next 12 months. Some versions of, do we need as many of these people as we have? Or can AI cover what they do? JP's 75 box story is the most useful data point I've heard for how to think about that decision. It wasn't that AI replaced the developers. It was that one person with the right context used AI to do what two developers without the context couldn't. The variable wasn't the AI, the variable was the judgment that directed it. So the question isn't whether AI can do the task, it almost certainly can. The question is whether you have people on your team who understand the task well enough to know if AI did it right. That's the distinction the companies in JP's story missed. They saw AI generating code and thought, we don't need as many engineers. What they should have thought is, we need engineers who can tell when AI generated code is going to fail in production before it does. And that's a different role, a harder role to hire for, and a much more expensive mistake to make than keeping the wrong person on the team. JP has been laid off twice. The market is tough, he said. He's not pretending otherwise, but what he's describing, the translation skill, the hybrid context, the ability to direct AI towards the right outcome is becoming more valuable, not less. CTOs who get this right aren't the ones who cut the most aggressively. They're the ones who cut precisely, who understand exactly which skills AI has made redundant and which ones AI has made essential. The org chart you build in the next 12 months is going to reflect which kind of CTO you are. I'm Darwin, and this is the Scaling Dilemma.